So in the park here, one of the places I have in front of me some ducks and some water. One of the places I like to come and just work and do my thing. And I wanted to give a video out to you today about what I learned from Gangsters. Now let me just tell you what I mean by that, gangster, because that means everybody's in a different situation we're coming at. So my first cousin, who was also basically one of my best friends growing up, his dad, for a living, shot dice, sold drugs, and he fixed cars every now and then. I mean, brilliant as a mechanic, brilliant. Type of guy he was, didn't talk much. Actually said very few words. But if you got the guy upset or you disrespected the guy in any way, he would either shoot you or he would either fight you. Those are the options. His son, growing up with a guy like that, so his son, his father was a single father, kind of the same way. Most of the time, who was my best friend, by the way, most of the time, happy-go-lucky guy. Type of guy that could finish a video game. Like, you give him a video game, give him a day or two, he's already finished it. Genius. But if you disrespected him, he would either do two things. Beat you up real bad, or he would shoot you. So he's dead now, right? And then going through high school, now I was a guy that wasn't joining gangs. I was a guy, but for some reason I had a lot of gang friends. I don't know what it was that attracted. It wasn't the violence, but I don't know if they had, they're savvy, but they were, gangster guys have all the qualities of a CEO, just not the integrity. So I remember one time in lunch, we were sitting around and a big brawl just broke out. And I was sitting at the table with two of these gangster guys. They jumped up, and next thing you know, it's like 30 dudes fighting, getting slung over freaking tables and everything. Gang stuff. But here's what I admired by them, and here's what they taught me. So evidently, they didn't teach me how to react to people, because I don't choose to beat people up or shoot people. But they taught me about people relations. They were quiet for a reason. Because one, they were very careful who they let into their circle. So they would hear what the way they watch people when people would come up and say, "Hey, what's going on?" They would watch them. And where I came from, it was considered, if you were a guy that talked a lot, you were considered to be acting like a woman. In their world, you don't talk that much. You only talk when you have something to say. You don't just be talking just to be talking. So they would read the heck out of people. You'll go to clubs, you'll go outings or whatever, and they would just be standing up against the wall. Few words. And I noticed in my older age, I'm turning more into that person. So then I started asking myself, am I going through depression, or what is this thing? Because my mom always used to say, be careful who you call your friends. Be careful of the people that invite in your life. Because people disguise stuff. Like, I was talking to a buddy today. Here's what he said. He was sitting at a table, and one of the guys who was sitting at the table happened to be a little bit overweight. So here's what the guy's asking him. The friend that you need to worry about. He's like, and I might be saying this correct, but this is kind of what he said, like, how much you weigh? You don't go to the gym, do you? What do you eat? Now, some people who are not deep thinkers would just hear those questions. But the tone that he's using in those questions, he's basically trying to say, dude, you're fat. That's what he's saying. You can listen to the tone, the sound. He's saying you're fat. But that guy keeps hanging around that person. He called the bigger guy. He still calls that person the friend, even though the friend doesn't see the good in him. He's trying, in a nutshell, to kind of humiliate the guy. Right? But we have this in our family, where people will be asking questions and it will be like, because the time of the year is coming up, Thanksgiving. What do you do for a living? I don't know. I could never do that. Never do that. I could never own a business or anything like that. I have to work for somebody. I have to. How much did you make with that? And you say, oh, it's 6 figures. Oh, that must be gross. What are they saying? That must be gross. They're saying, I don't want you to be successful. I don't want you to be able to make 6 figures and all your bills are paid. So I'm going to throw out something else and just say, oh, it's gross. Because it can't be. Because if you just said, oh, no, it's not gross. It's net. Oh, but you still must have a lot of bills. Like, why did you just throw that in there? You see? And I'm only talking to a few people here because only a few people are going to be able to see what I'm saying. When you walk into a club, you have the general line where everybody's always packed. And then you have the VIP line where there's nobody there. In your life, you should always think about that VIP rope. Because that VIP rope is only available for a few certain people. That is how people should come in your life. You should only let a few certain people come in. Just because you went to school with someone, because your parents chose a neighborhood to live based on their economic, situation at that time, and there were people that were around that area, and you just said, oh, this is my friend because he lived next to me. But never was, we should choose friends like we choose a mate. Like, I don't want to be with that guy because he smokes crack. Or I don't be with that woman because she shoots heroin. I want to be with somebody who actually, has went to college or is studying to improve themselves, that doesn't have debt, that is not a gossipy type person, that is not a person that is real drama. That's how we should be picking our people around us. And I learned a lot just from YouTube. Like, I want everybody here to be successful. This is why I turn on the camera. Anything I learn, I want to give it to you. And that's been always my philosophy for about 10 years. But I've learned that sometimes you let people in and they just start saying stuff. Oh, you must be this. And, I bet you have a old car. Or I bet you, I don't get that rhetoric. First of all, what you drive doesn't make a difference. But I don't get those comments, because what people are trying to do secretly is they have a measuring stick and they're trying to measure where you are and where they are. And in their mind, they're trying to beat you. So the way to do that is to not play the game. Now, let me just see. There's a question here somebody's asking. Let me see. Can I pull that back up? Show live chat messages. Because I think that was a good question that I saw. All right. How do you deal with arrogant people who always talk about their degrees? They also talk about their good paying job. How do you shut them up? Now, first, that's a great question. But let me say something. I'll give you an example. So, somebody asked me once when I came from China. They asked me, oh, you went to China. Oh, wow, that must have been nice. That's the first thing. So I remember just last night it happened. Went to a friend's house and they asked us this question. And I want you to take it. They said, where is the most interesting place you've been? And I immediately said, Nepal. Now, I question to me, give this response to this person because this is a high level individual. And here's what happened. I was talking about, when I went through customs the guy touched my penis, who was a customs agent, with his finger, and then I'm like freaking out, like, what? And then he touched it again. Like, so, and then I told a few stories about China, and then I told a few stories about Central America. Somebody would leave from that conversation and say, oh, this guy was bragging. But I was only telling what happened. So I'm not saying that that's what you're hearing by the person who is always saying to have a good job. But if that person said that they have made six figures or whatever already, that you first have to ask yourself the question, am I upset that this guy makes a lot of money? Now, if he shows up every time and be like, man, it's Monday, I got to go to my my high paying job, he's bragging. But how often is he saying it? Because you got to check that. Because I told a friend today, I've been the type of guy, I've never hated on somebody. And what I mean by that is, I'm the guy that would see you pull up with your Lamborghini and you put gas in the car. And I'm going to ask you, first of all, congratulations. And second of all, how did you do it? That's how MJ DeMarco, who's the author of Millionaire Fastlane, that's how he created his company. He saw a young guy driving a Lamborghini and he asked, how did he do it? He didn't say, oh, I bet that guy's a douchebag. He probably has a small penis. Or I bet he's like one of those, stud guys or whatever. He didn't say that. Like, some people with low self-esteem sit around and have those conversations. But what are you doing? You're blocking yourself from success, because that person could have the key. And if you weren't such a douchebag by trying to put a label on somebody when you don't even know him, you're not going to get the gift. So the guy or girl who is not intimidated, they go ask the person, congratulations. And that guy probably said, you know what? I'm actually looking for somebody and like your attitude, because 90% of people I come in contact with, they hate on me. So I want you to join my team because I like your attitude. You never know. So I'm very careful to answer that question when you say, is he arrogant? Because I don't know if there's a difference between arrogance and a person being jealous. I think most jealous people, a lot of them, they don't like, if a guy says he's a billionaire, or if you found out somebody's a billionaire, some people automatically dislike him. It's like the bigger girl hating on the girl that goes to the gym. Oh my gosh, I could not be in the gym all that long and sweating and all that. And oh my gosh, eating plants and vegetables all day. No, I couldn't do that. Okay, great. And the skinny girl is thinking, why are you even telling me that? I haven't talked about the gym once. The only reason we have a conversation is because you're looking at me and you're intimidated by that. So you're come up with this crazy question about the gym. See, those are the stories that don't get told, because the little guy who's talking the negative stuff always get the pass. But when it becomes a bully is when the skinny girl says, why don't you work out? Or when the rich guy says, why are you being such, a lazy dude? Why won't you just get out and start a business and stop trying to be perfect? Why don't you, if you're not getting the job that you want, why not go to school and get your doctorate? Cut all your friends out, cut the TV out, cut all that stuff and stop reading books. Why are you constantly saying, they didn't teach me finance? Why don't you get off your own butt and learn finance? Because the library is free and books are there. They have books in Barnes and Nobles, but you would rather go out to a club and drink and all this other kind of stuff. See, that's a story that doesn't get told. So when I hear a statement of my friend is always jealous, my friend is always talking about his career, get motivated by it. First of all, here's the question you're not asking. How can I get my friend to shut up? Well, if you're asking a question, he's probably making more money than you. Why not ask your friend, how do you do it? What am I doing different so I can make money like you? Why look at it from a standpoint of, how can I get him to shut up? He's making you look bad. He's making you feel bad. Because here's the thing. I want to be around people that are successful. I just interviewed a guy that made $3 million, basically teaching digital courses. Actually, no, I'm going to get back. He didn't just make $3 million. He made more than that. He was living in a $2 million home. And a girl was one of his top students. She was making, she's made so far this year $500,000. Right? So it sounds like, thinking on a deeper level, that you're bothered that this person is making money because he's making you feel bad because he just says that he has a 6-figure job or whatever. So don't feel bad. Congratulate him. But have you ever asked yourself the question, and this is for the person that posed that, have you ever asked the guy, what did he do different? How did he get the job? Have you ever asked that? Because I think that's a low-level question to ask. How can I get my friend to shut up? How can I get someone to stop talking about the trips they've been on? Well, if it's a part of their life, it's a part of their life. If you can only afford to go to Cancun and somebody tells you that they went to Paris, a lot of the times you get upset about it because how dare you say that? How dare you say you go to Paris? Well, they went to Paris. This is why I say sometimes when you're moving up the ladder, your circle has to become very small. That's what I've learned. So, I have a $9.99 membership group, guys. Check it out. The link will be in the description if it's there. It'll be there pretty soon here. Or, just send me a message at info.howtofindyourpassionnow@gmail.com that you want to join. But I'm going to talk about the things that I'm working on. Because, like, today I did something powerful that I'm forming on the side. Me and this guy has been we've been doing this on the side. And then the girl that I told you that had made $500,000 this year, I'm partnering with her on a few things because sometimes it's about networking. And, I'll do a video on Bitcoin because I think I've been going on 17 minutes with this video. So I'm going to stop this, but I'll do a future video on Bitcoin because it's starting to get a lot of attention on that now. So take care, guys. Join my mastermind group. Change your thinking. $9.99 a month, guys. Take care.